Live from Radio Row at Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans, I'm Roy Kessel with Sports Philanthropy Network, and now we're very excited to have with us a couple of the panelists for tomorrow's Brain Health Summit at Leigh Steinberg's party. So we know brain health is so important. You guys are involved in some of the cutting edge work in that area. So I'd love to have each of you introduce yourself to our audience, and then we're going to talk about your work.
Sounds great. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for the invite. My name is Katarina Maloney. I'm a CEO of IQMIND. I'm one of the panelists on the Brain Summit at Leigh Steinberg, a Super Bowl party.
My name is Jim Kelly. I'm emeritus professor of neurology at the University of Colorado, and I'm chief medical officer of Oragenics, which is a concussion medication in trials right now.
So let's start with your company. Tell us what that's all about and what kind of work you guys are doing.
So IQMind, I stand here today in front of you not only as a founder or a CEO of IQMind, but as of somebody whose concussion and traumatic brain injury affected a life as well. I had a terrible injury, and the real tragedy was not that injury itself, but it was actually what happened afterwards. Because of no options, no real solutions, I was practically left in a pain, hopeless. I was experiencing nonstop vertigo. I could not take a shower by myself. I could not feed myself. I lost 30 pounds. My life was kind of ending as it was. And out of this desperation, basically I created a mission to create a solution for TBI and concussions, and not only for that, but for brain performance in general. The space that IQMan works is between neurology and psychology. It's the main basically platform is that your brain is electrochemical organ, and we're not focusing only on a chemistry level, but we're focusing on electricity as well. Since your brain is electromagnetic organ, it produces more energy in 5 minutes than your whole body during marathon. What we do is we imagine going to the clinic, and in 20-minute scan, you know your brain performance, weaknesses, strengths. With 30-minute treatments, we can increase your focus, clarity. We can help reduce concussion symptoms. We can help you with your sleep and many other disorders, but mainly we can help with the brain performance as well. Our company, BMedic's, been working with Red Bull for over a decade to increase performance of their athletes, and it's doing wonderful for them. And we are here basically to help pro sports athletes with a prevention and a treatment of concussion and TBI, because it is a critical still issue, and there's no real options, and help with them with their brain performance.
Well, I think what's really interesting, and we talked with other groups about it, is you look around the room where we're at, we're at Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans, right? Concussions are a huge issue in football, right? But brain health impacts everybody. And the research shows the percentage of concussions in organized sports is still relatively low compared to those that happen everywhere else. Car accidents, slip and falls, people falling off of playgrounds as kids or banging their heads on cabinets or doors or things of that nature. And so you mentioned the challenges you were going through as a result. Um, I think what really struck me was you talked about the electricity.
Yes.
Such a greater level.
Yes. My concussion did not happen on the football field or in a battlefield or in a car accident. It actually happened in my own doctor's office. So there could be a moment anytime in any of our lives that can adjust the course of who you are, who you can become. And we truly believe that, this technology can be used from anybody, from children with ADHD to elderly with memory problems. Our research suggests with our technology, we improve depression rates by 95%, TBI symptoms by 50%, ADHD children symptoms relief is over 70%. The potential is enormous. I truly believe that a brain and psychiatric options and chemistry options needs to be still kind of looked at together, because it's a circle, and it is the organ that is the most studied in the last 60 years. So the electricity and the options are enormous of what we are capable to do, and what are the symptoms that we can achieve are wonderful. We had a dementia patient who was diagnosed with dementia for over a decade, and he was an attorney, lost his practice, basically lost kind of the quality of his life. We scanned his brain in 20 minutes, and we basically told him he does not have a dementia. Right now, he does not even have any of the symptoms, really. He is capable to live normal life. And my goal and mission of our company is to eradicate all mental deficiencies of the brain and focus on brain performance, because
Right.
we can definitely heal the world one brain at a time.
Jim, I want to flip it over to you now. You've been in this space for a long time, right? And so take us through a little bit of your career and the kind of work that you were doing, and then orthogenics and the work that you're doing now.
Well, early on as a neurologist, hell-bent on staying in the academic world, I had to find some niche, because that's what you do in the academic world, your own thing. And I was very interested in athletics, very interested in brain and psychology. I was a psychologist before medical school. So I put that together in neurology in a field called behavioral neurology. And it turns out that very few people were actually looking at concussion at all, let alone in sports, back in the late 80s and early 90s.
And even a lot later than that.
And a lot later than that. And so I was doing some research and publishing and witnessing some catastrophic outcomes and so forth, which led to an entire career in traumatic brain injury. I met Leigh Steinberg because of his concern about his athletes as his clients back in 1995, when he assembled a panel of us to talk to them, to talk to the athletes about what to worry about and what's real and how to take it seriously, and hear from them. And he led that charge a long time ago. And I've been very impressed with the way he's handled that all along. This is my first opportunity to participate in this particular forum. I was there last year when he did it in Las Vegas as well, just to observe. But one of the things all along in my career I've wished for is to have a medication we could give people with concussion. There is no such approved medication at this time. Not that that's always the answer and it won't be a cure, but one of the things we really need better science around is how to manage the inflammatory changes and the cascade of neurological problems that occur at the cellular level within the brain tissue. And that's what we're about at Oragenics, trying to figure out how best to treat the acute concussion so that people are better off right away, and then we have less to contend with down the road. If we actually had that opportunity, everybody would be better, as you're saying, in a huge number of people in this country alone.
Well, I think one of the things, and our audience has heard this from other people as well, right? We seem to know so much about the physical body, right? We can treat, cure, transplant, heal so many aspects, right? But the brain seems to be that last frontier that we still really struggle with. And it's a hard place to get all of the answers, because there isn't an easy scan, right? We're spoiled now. We've got MRIs, we've got X-rays, right? I can run this over your arm and I can see it's broken, and 99.9% of the people and physicians would agree with that diagnosis, right? Maybe on certain ligament tears, there's a little bit more, but on the brain, there's no easy way to tell what's going wrong.
We're getting there, and the technology is helping us with that. And it's absolutely critical to get the diagnosis right, because a lot of things can look like concussion that aren't. And a really good example of that was the 7 years I spent in the military system during the height of our wars. So the sports community was asked by the Defense Department to come in and help them figure out what to do about concussion. And then I was asked to stand up a concussion institute at Walter Reed, which still exists and is a magnificent place. And under those circumstances, advances were made in diagnosis and treatment without medications, because we still don't have them. And progress was made, especially with chronic conditions related to concussion. Now what we need to do is move forward, a little upstream and make sure that we're actually catching this as soon as we can, get the diagnosis right, and then jump on treatment.
Yeah, and I think it's that treatment element that is so hard because the treatment protocols are not yet fully, I'll say, vetted or agreed upon. Right? There's a lot of different ideas of this might help, that might help. You see people doing a whole array of things, some of it with neurofeedback, some of it with CBD, all kinds of different things and different degrees of success. And it's hard to create a consistent protocol that will work.
That's where the science comes in. And I think both of us have
Agree.
those kinds of backgrounds and point of intersection in our careers, even though we've not worked together. That's got to guide us in the future.
Well, we're looking forward to your presentations tomorrow at the Brain Health Summit. Thank you for taking the time to join
Thank
us.
you so much.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope you both fill out your cards here for the Wall of Philanthropy. Would love to have you share your thoughts and what your passion is. So appreciate you making the time to join us today. This is Roy Kessel on behalf of Sports Philanthropy Network, signing off from Radio Row at Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. Please remember to live generously.